You know, for me, covering the court, you have all these very difficult issues. I found very few that were as difficult as capital punishment. And I sometimes think that lost in the debate, we talk to scholars, we talk to lawyers, we talk to judges.
Maybe the people we ought to talk to are really the undertakers. They see these crimes firsthand.
And these are awful crimes we're talking about. I mean, the crimes that reach the appellate level in this country, and particularly the Supreme Court, are not your run-of-the-mill murders. They aren't the Saturday night 7-Eleven robbery. They aren't crimes of passion. These are awful crimes for the most part. These are awful people. These are rotten killers.
We've been thinking about this for some time, haven't we?
20 years.
Talking about this book for 20 years, and we've had lots of time to discuss and debate these various issues. Now that we've actually written the book, what have you learned?
Well, you'd think that what I learned is that things were easier to understand. Well, not necessarily. They turn out to be more complex than I thought they were. There are no certainties in this system of jurisprudence that determines life and death. There are so many variables, there are so many subjective factors that what I found more and more fascinating as we got into it is how complex, how rich in detail each of these cases were and how different each one was.
I found that the more I studied capital punishment, the more uncertain I was about what the answer is.
The smartest men in America have tried to figure out for more than 200 years how to properly deal with terrible crimes in this country. What crimes are punishable by death? And near as I can figure out, the smartest men in America haven't figured it out yet.
You have no way of knowing who will be executed and who will be spared. That kind of system reflects badly. I mean, it's not about the criminal. It's not so much about the crime. It's about us administering punishment and whether we can do that fairly and consistently.
What struck me in doing the book, and what I hope the reader will appreciate, is how interesting and fascinating some of these stories are, both on the crime side and the legal side. I mean, we, in digging into these terrible crimes, have discovered details that will give people who are against capital punishment great pause. Maybe these murderers deserve to die. In covering the legal process, we've discovered flaws that may cause readers who believe in capital punishment to think twice about the way it's administered. And as far as I'm concerned, if we get readers thinking either way, if we get them thinking in ways they hadn't thought before, if these stories and these cases stimulate debate and interest, then this book will have succeeded.
And I think we both agree our purpose clearly was not to persuade, but rather to inform.